I would love to have the governor of Illinois call me and say, look, we have a problem in Chicago. We will stop that problem in Chicago in 2 months, maybe less, 2 months. We'll stop it.
We have received no calls from the White House, from the federal government, from anybody who might be in charge of some sort of troop movement.
It's Governor J.B. Pritzker and President Donald Trump. The back and forth continues about public safety in Chicago. And what's the president going to do? Is he actually going to send the National Guard, or is he going to wait for Pritzker to call, as he's said now for the past couple of days? It's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop, editor at thecentersquare.com. Get the newsletter every morning and wake up with us here live for Illinois in Focus Daily. So we've got the background. We've been talking about this for several weeks now, after President Trump announced that he was going to send the National Guard to Washington, D.C. to help with crime there 2 weeks ago. He said Chicago could be next. Well, that sparked all kinds of headlines, sparked all kinds of Democrat backlash, people saying that he's a dictator, that he's an authoritarian, that he's a fascist, and Trump saying, listen, I'm just wanting to make sure the streets are safe so that men can take their wives out for dinner and not be worried about getting mugged. And the clashing continues, but there's really a lack of communication there, and you'd think that leaders would just be able to pick up the phone and talk to people, but apparently that's not necessarily happening here. So the president Monday signed an executive order saying that no more funds from tax dollars out of the federal government to states that have no cash bail. That's going to be an ongoing conversation we're going to be highlighting here with Illinois in Focus Daily each and every weekday morning when we got news on that, so stay tuned. But Trump also continued to talk about sending the Guard to crime hotspots. And he mentioned Chicago. So Monday, he had that. And then he had like a 3+ hour cabinet meeting in front of the cameras. And here's just some of the president talking again about Illinois.
I would love to have the governor of Illinois call me and say, look, we have a problem in Chicago. We will stop that problem in Chicago in 2 months, maybe less, 2 months. We'll stop it. We have to keep it going, and we'll be able to keep it going. The first thing you have to do is get it down. We are very close to being in that position in D.C., and within a month, we will be, within a month from when we started, which is quicker than I thought. You're going to feel very, very safe. I think you feel very safe right now.
So he says that within a month, D.C. is going to be really safe, and he says that he can help clean up Chicago streets within 2 months. More from the president. It's a little bit of a longer clip, but he was asked about Pritzker's comments the day before, Monday afternoon, when Pritzker and Durbin and Duckworth and other Congress people and the Attorney General all stood in front of the skyline of Chicago, talking about how Trump's a dictator and authoritarian, and this is dangerous. You've got Governor Pritzker saying that he is going to support nonviolent protests of this.
Governor Pritzker said yesterday that at a press conference that he would encourage nonviolent resistance to the National Guard if they were sent to Chicago. What's your response to that?
He said what?
That he would encourage nonviolent resistance if the National Guard is sent to Chicago.
Look, this guy doesn't know what resistance is or nonviolent resistance is. He's a bad politician. It's amazing. I mean, if he didn't have the money, he wouldn't get any votes because there's no compelling reason to vote for him. The guy's a major loser. But it would be nice if he would call me. I would change my mind immediately. He said, because everybody knows Chicago is a hellhole right now. Everybody knows it. It's not like he's saying, Chicago has much better numbers, right? Well, what's much better? You mean 100 people are going to be murdered? It's going to be much more than that. So I would have much more respect for Pritzker if he'd call me up and say, I have a problem. Can you help me fix it? I would be so happy to do it. I don't love, not that I don't have the right to do anything I want to do. I'm the president of the United States. If I think our country's in danger, and it is in danger in these cities, I can do it. No problem going in and solving, his difficulties. But it would be nice if they'd call and they'd say, would you do it? And we do it in conjunction. Now, we work very well with the police because we naturally get along with the police. So the police and us work really well together, whether the mayor is opposed or whether, you have a really rotten mayor there too. He's got a 6% approval rating in Chicago. And I see black women wearing a red MAGA hat last night on television Please let the president come in. My son was attacked. You have a force of black women. They're like only Trump. They want Trump to come in. And you see them, they're all over the place in Chicago because they're afraid to go out and they don't want their son or their daughter killed, just like your parents didn't want you killed. And we have a tremendous, look, it's not about winning elections because we want to have nice, fair elections. It's not politics. We want to see a safe country. You have people that want to see a safe country, and they're great people. You have great people in Chicago. The mayor is at 6% approval. He's an incompetent man. He should have never been put in a position like that. He can't handle it. You have an incompetent governor there.
So again, Trump really leaning into calling Brandon Johnson and Governor Pritzker incompetent, and the president saying he's going to clean things up in 2 months. He says that he really wants the governor to call him, while Democrats, they report that the city of Chicago is not among the most violent cities in the country, and Governor Pritzker touches on that here in a moment. But he was asked yesterday at an unrelated event about news reports that there could be staging for the Naval Station Great Lakes, where there could be National Guard staged there. Some reporting on that happening, but Pritzker responding to it yesterday.
Well, great reporting on the part of our journalists. I want to be clear, we have received no calls from the White House, from the federal government, from anybody who might be in charge of some sort of troop movement. So we're glad to have read about it, but would rather have had some direct communication. They don't seem to want to communicate at all. And that's odd, because it sounds like what they're trying to do is to march right over local police. You know, we used to hear that the President of the United States supported local police. We support local police, but now it appears that he wants to ignore them altogether and just do whatever, well, he has a whim about on that day.
And the governor also having some statistics that his office has shared, that Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson's office has shared, and saying that they believe that violent crime's down in Chicago, and it doesn't even make the list of top 25 cities with high crime rates, according to the governor. Here's him being asked, well, okay, all of this aside, what if troops come to Chicago? What's going to happen?
You know, at this point, so much of it is rumor. Even things that we're hearing through our office, people calling who are not calling in their official capacity to let us know what's going on. We only know so much. Right now, it's hard to tell. We haven't seen troop movements yet. We also haven't seen any call up of our National Guard, but we are on guard. Hoping that does not happen, and very importantly, trying to send a message to the White House and to the members of the Congress and the Republican Party that the city of Chicago, the state of Illinois, I want to point out, the state of Illinois is 19th best among the 50 states in terms of violent crime. In other words, we're in the best half of all the states in terms of violent crime. And we've been working very hard to make that happen. And the city of Chicago isn't even in the top 25 major cities with high crime rates because we've worked to bring it down. We got more work to do. Every death is a tragedy. Every crime that's committed is a tragedy. And we need to protect our families and help the victims of violent crime. But Donald Trump has defunded the programs that would help us most to make sure that we're interrupting violence and also providing the kind of coordination between federal law enforcement and state law enforcement, the resources that are necessary for doing that. That's a real shame. And it's Donald Trump that is defunding the police. It is not the state of Illinois. It's not the city of Chicago. It's Donald Trump doing that.
You got Pritzker saying, all these different statistics and whatnot. But if you look at the Center for Public Safety Initiatives, this coming from RIT University and the College of Liberal Arts for Rochester Institute of Technology. This is the 2024 homicide totals, and they have a chart here. It's a working paper, but the chart ranks it by homicide rate. And St. Louis has the highest homicide rate. 54.4% is the homicide rate. Let me pull this up. So you've got this report from the Rochester Institute of Technology. Look at the chart. Again, St. Louis, number one, 54.4% homicide rate. Chicago's at a 21.7 in 2024. But if you look at the total of homicides, Chicago is number one in the number of homicides from 2024, 573 homicides. The only follow-up to that for total number of homicides was New York City with 377 homicides. Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea here, at least, of how, you can slice and dice numbers any way you want, really. But really, it comes down to what you're seeing on the streets. Now, Hey Jackass is a media outlet in Chicago that has some data that they update regularly. And if you don't go to this website, it's something that's rather fascinating to see how they break out all of these numbers. But you can see, August to date, shot and killed 29, 32 total homicides. Total homicides year to date. And it's got even, reports from the past 48 hours or so. If you go even further down, you can see some of the most recent reporting on the crimes that are happening and the outcomes. So this will give you a snapshot of sorts of where we're at in these stories of violent crime in the city of Chicago, including those that turn out to be deadly, and even the map of where that's happening. So, Hey Jackass, another resource that you can tap into. So this is going to be an ongoing issue, and something I think that with Trump in office until 2028, it's going to be important to stay plugged in and to hear from all sides, to hear the president talk about what he wants to do with public safety, to hear the governor and the Chicago mayor to see what they want to do about public safety. But the most recent is the communication seems to be lacking between the White House and the Pritzker administration. Here's, after 3 hours of a cabinet meeting, President Trump closing things out.
And I hope, just in finishing, I hope that Illinois, I hope that New York, I hope that California, I hope they call me and they say, I'd love to have you come in and help us out. I will be a totally different person with them. I will respect them for doing it. Thank you all very much.
Yeah, the story continues. And that's why you wake up with us each and every weekday morning here with Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop, editor of the Center Square, and you can get the headlines in the inbox. Just go to thecentersquare.com and sign up today.